had 7 jobs. I have a lot of debt. It's a very expensive city to live in. I'm not at the financial point where I can say no, so I have to get on the train and go to Fire Island. I can't responsibly turn down work even if I really don't feel like it. I have gotten calls at 3 in the morning.
When I was a lawyer in the past, and when you're a lawyer, you have to be online all the time, reply right away. That becomes intense.
When I did my taxes this year, I had 7 jobs. I have a lot of debt, and it's a very expensive city to live in. Yeah, probably just not knowing when your hours are gonna be, and I sometimes get calls and they're someone had to call out sick. Can you be 3 hours away in Fire Island within the next couple hours? And I'm not at the financial point where I can say no, so I have to get on the train and go to Fire Island. I can't responsibly turn down work even if I really don't feel like it. Definitely. I have gotten calls at 3 in the morning. Somebody was trying to buy the bartender shots. They drank too much. They're going home. You have to come take over. I do have to answer it. It took me a really long time to finish university because I kept dropping out just because I was working 3 jobs the whole time. I, want to go and find a better job, but when I get home from work, I don't have the energy to get on the internet and find one. I mean, I spend time with friends, get intoxicated more often than I really should on weekdays. I take care of sweet dogs, eat healthy, go outside as much as I can. Yeah, I would say that I have a lot more physical fatigue than mental because working a lot of minimum wage jobs, it's just super, you do the same 3 activities over and over again.
After work on weekdays, I spend time with the kids, putting them to sleep, and spend time with my wife. It's important to me to carve out time for myself and to have hobbies and work out and mentally satisfied as well. Strict deadlines, maybe not strict deadlines, but if something comes up that's not planned. Yeah, when I was a lawyer in the past, and when you're a lawyer, you have to be online all the time, reply right away. That becomes intense. Whenever, like I said, whenever I have carved time out, I will stick to it and not look at my phone or email or anything.
Oh no, I'm off today.
Same.
Okay, I'm an artist, but I paint scenery for television, film.
Again, art, that's the main thing that you do for a living. But for work, I work for Madame Tussauds, the wax museum.
Oh wow, it definitely helps. I have to go out and expand and just get outside of the mind frame of doing something for someone else that I might not really connect with for money. That's the thing I feel with work. A lot of times it becomes all business.
My job involves a lot of interacting with guests. I guess you could say personality energy. And so it's very important to have the time to handle yourself so you can go perform at work at 100%.
Is that work-life balance the most? Drinking too much, maybe, and spending your energy in negative, dead-end projects.
I'd say greed. Greed not in the sense of just money, but wanting to have stuff. We know a friend that's right now kind of at their wit's end with the idea that they could make the amount of money, which means work the amount of hours and that hard to just live here when they're realizing it's not really worth living here. So even the greed of where you want to live and what you want to wear and your possessions, it's that can kind of blow you out the water.
No. Oh yes, many times. Not work or people or whatever situations, it's me reacting to it in my own self. Just by living life and eating, drinking water, and sleeping just enough to live. That's the mere fact of it.
Laying in the sun and kind of just fear of not wanting to go back to not having the ability to take care of myself. Big motivation.
Body, mind, and the soul. You don't have to think about, you're looking at work to literally. Work is just nothing. It's an illusion. No matter what you do, I don't compartmentalize it as mental and physical. You're gonna have physical stress and mental stress, but you would hope to move the right way or think the right way.
It's a simple rule, it's a saying, it's don't shit where you eat. It's essentially keep a side of you away from what feeds you, so, and it's not to say you can't connect that with people, but just understand, let's say you're out drinking with one of your coworkers and y'all happen to drink too much together and someone does something to the other. That's a massive risk. I mean, you can do it successfully, but I will not mix the two. Work, life.
I think when a job gets too consuming or too demanding or exceeds the expectations that you agreed to, like, I think it gets really hard when, like, you start to get taken advantage of, but all of a sudden your boss is asking you to turn in stuff after work on Friday. Like, I think that's what starts to get hard, is it's not what you initially agreed to. I think that's what gets hard when work starts to blend into your personal life. I think it depends on the person and the dynamic. I think certain jobs I've been like, oh, if I don't answer, like, I'm gonna get in trouble. And then certain people, like, I've worked for, like, really, really nice people. Like, I was enjoying my weekend and they're not gonna be mad at me. So I think it just, like, depends on what, like, relationship you have with them. Oh, 100%. It's like you're balancing, like, school and work and everything else. And I think that's, like, creates burnout really easily, because it's like you go to school all day, but I want to hang out with my friends, especially for people that, like, doesn't have to, like, get up every single day and, like, do the 9 to 5, like, create burnout super easily. When I'm feeling that way, you just have to change up your routine, which I think, again, is really hard for people who their work routine is super consistent and monotonous. Trying to, like, wake up earlier on some days and, like, hang out by myself and, like, go for a bike ride and, like, do stuff like that is super awesome. I think the key is just feeling like you're in control, and I think what helps the most is, like, connecting to yourself. I think that's all about just, like, giving time to yourself, prioritizing yourself, letting yourself know that, like, you have your own back, you know? I feel like, especially in creative fields, you work with a lot of intense personalities, where I think I try and create a rule for myself to not work with mean people. I feel like I always used to be like, oh, like, I have to do this job, like, so worth it, like, it's great money, it's great whatever. But I think it gets to a certain point where there's no need to make myself miserable incessantly and kind of bow down to people's every beck and call when they're making me feel miserable and terrible about myself.